Okay, great. So now we're going to talk about mappings and struct as reference types in Solidity. So let me start with, let's see. So mapping and struct is something that I'm not going to use inside of this project, the lottery contract project. But on the next project, I'm definitely going to use. So at this point, this is just a sneak peek of the different reference types available in Solidity. So let's talk about mapping. A mapping is a collection of key value pairs. So if you're coming from the world of JavaScript, you can think of mapping as being very similar to an object. Coming from Ruby, they're like hashes. If you're coming from Python, they're like dictionaries. So the key thing to keep in mind about a mapping is that all the keys have to be the same type and all of the values have to be the same type as well. I have an Ethereum Stack Exchange article regarding this. So as you can see here, the answer that I provided recently was a mapping is a collection of key value pairs. And I got into the similarities. And so here's an example. So all the keys have to be of the same type, and we can designate mappings like so. So we say mapping and then specify the type of key that we want to use, a little arrow, and then the type of value that we want to use. And then here's an example of mapping with the key of type int and Boolean. And so mappings are most frequently used for storing collections of data. And so now I want to get into structs. And so a struct is a collection of key value pairs, but the value of a struct can have different types. Here's an example of a type definition of a struct. And we say struct, the name of the struct type, right? And we specify we specify all the different properties that the struct will have. So in this case, I made a car. It can have a string of make and a string of model and an unsigned integer value of the car's value. And so we most commonly use structs to represent a singular thing. And we're representing a singular car with many properties assigned to it. We can use structs to represent a desk or a piece of furniture, a person, a house. So the difference between mapping and struct is that mapping is used for a collection of things. So we might store a collection of different cards inside of a mapping or a collection of different houses inside of mapping. Struct represents a singular thing. So that's a quick overview on mapping and structs. And now there is a gotcha on these reference types that I'm going to go ahead and cover in the next video. And so I'll see you then.